So we've talked in recent weeks about the running of Justin Fields, and obviously he was compromised late last season. So David Greenshield is saying, I know we've talked about it, but has Ryan Day given any indication of how much Justin Fields is going to run, particularly in short yardage or goal line situations?
We've seen the transformation of Ryan Day into Jim Tressel in terms of press conferences in front of our very eyes. The amount of information and insight into true inner workings, and that's not to say that either of them were being trouble or problematic in terms of their answers. It's their program. They can answer questions however they want to. But on our Tuesday call with Ryan Day, he said next to nothing, to be quite honest. And, I don't know if he would answer that question if it was directly put at him. You're dealing with a situation of where they don't necessarily know, or they're not going to announce who their number 2 quarterback is. And whenever you have design Q runs, you put your quarterback at risk, whether it's going to end up being Gunnar Hoke or CJ Stroud or Jack Miller at this point. I don't think that you can sit there and completely shy away and not go out and play football. But I guess to answer the question in a much shorter version, unless he snuck it in there at some point, he has not said anything of that nature. But a healthy Fields, I think for him to be fully utilized and fully maximized, has to be able to tuck it and run.
I agree. We had our call, as Kevin alluded to, with Coach Ryan Day yesterday. I nearly blanked out on his name there just a second ago. Ryan Day is the head coach at Ohio State. We didn't find out if Haskell Garrett or Teron Vincent will play this week or anytime this season. We didn't find out who the backup quarterback is. We didn't really find out who the starting running back is, or how much, if there's a given percentage yet of 60 for Master, 40 for Sermon. And there's probably about the only thing we really did find out. And this was a question. I think I was the last. Yeah, I was the last person to ask the question. I said, what's up with Nicholas Petit-Frere in the right tackle position? And he did say that Nicholas Petit-Frere was going to start. He talked about Harry Miller as if he is a starter, I think, at the guard position that Jonah Jackson played last year, I guess the left guard position. So he didn't say Harry Miller will start the game, though. I don't think he was really pressed on it. You have to understand, when you're doing these Zoom calls, you're not sitting in a room together where I can show some body language back to him and say, yeah, but, or anything like that, or get a third question off or whatever. They kind of move away from you. So follow-up questions are kind of hard to come by, and really pinning him down. I think his tact in this press conference was, if you want to know the answer to this or any other question about our team, you need to tune in on Saturday at noon and watch the game and see how we handle all this. And he wasn't about to give Nebraska one scintilla of information that would help them prepare for this game. Not one bit. And that's them's the breaks, guys. But I think we'll have a lot clearer idea on all these answers to all these questions: personnel grouping, starters, backups, availability. Do guys even warm up? Are they even in street clothes? Are they in jerseys, shoulder pads? Are they out there? We'll have a better idea on everybody's status after this first week.
12 p.m. on Big Fox.
Big noon Fox Saturday. Noon Fox Saturday.
One of the regionals or anything like that.
Yeah.
Industry term, it's Big Fox. When it's
not over on FS1 or FS2 with the skateboarding. None of that. It's main Fox. Find your Fox affiliate in your town. Check your local listings. Big Ten football, regular season, latest first game in history, etc.
We're not going to see
Masked Singer and The Simpsons on.
Yes.
You mean we're not going to see Kansas and Oklahoma State to this or whoever it was? I know it was Kansas.
Kansas was on Big freaking Fox like last week or the week before, and I was like,
last week.
This is what it's come to, huh?
This is what it is.
That contract writer must appear on Big Fox at least once every 3 years or something.
The problem was, I think the Big 12 schedule last week, I think there was one game. If I remember right, I think there was one.
It was them in West Virginia.
Yeah.
It was them in West Virginia. Yeah.
There was obviously were no Big Ten games, so it was either going to be that or something for one of those copper skillets or whatever that are the amazing nonstick that you can burn the cheese in. Probably watch the copper skillet infomercial than watch KU play, and it's going to be even worse now that their best player has opted out. So all hail the Big Ten. You may be a pain in our rear end in some ways, but glad to have you back.
Kevin, I got to think when they came up with that big noon concoction there at Fox that they had you in mind. So when is your debut?
I've been begging them for a banner. I want a banner so bad to use as a backdrop. They weren't able to furnish me with one. They did give me an adult large polo shirt, which will never fit Big Noon, and a coffee cup. So the coffee cup is being used. Okay. The adult large golf shirt is in the back of the closet. I'm never going to be back down to an adult large. And I will continue to try and see if I can get a sanitized banner after the course of this season.
A sanitized banner. Too much.
We haven't seen Teron Vincent on the field for quite some time, and David Shield is asking about his availability.
He's dinged right now, to use another Tressel term. I'm feeling nostalgic. We didn't really get a whole lot from Greg Madison today in terms of, hey, they're going through a lot of the things, but that doesn't mean anything. I'm not hopeful that I would expect to see him playing this week. I don't necessarily know a severity or a status or anything of that nature, but it's just going to put more importance on Antoine Jackson, Tommy Togiai, and then maybe what some of the young guys are going to be able to do, like a Jaden McKenzie or a Ty Hamilton. And then, of course, don't forget about Jerron Cage, who's been in the program for a couple of years as well.
Talk Ohio State football here each and every week. We've got 86 on the line, and is always the case, that's the most people that we've had on for the entire hour. So what that means is as soon as the video posts, go back and watch what you missed, because we probably addressed whatever your question was as we pretty much scanned the live chat, got everyone together. You got your betting tips from Steve. You know how to play a parlay now. You're all set for the beginning of Big Ten football. Just stay away from the Pac-12. Don't try to predict or figure out what's going to happen there late at night on a Saturday night in one of those 62-59 games. Just don't even try to do that.
I ruined the only parlay that I played when we were in Council Bluffs. I think I had a Pac-12 game in there, and that was, good night at that point. So I won't touch that league with a 10-foot pole.
Good stuff. Got to check out these two guys. They are the very best, and I hope that all of you out there appreciate what we bring here with Kevin Noon from Buckeye Grove, and also in the middle here, Steve Hellwagon from Bucknuts, who has joined us for years and years and years, and has been kind enough to and gracious enough to post these videos on 247sports@bucknuts.com. All right, guys, enjoy the game. Do we know our accommodations there at Ohio Stadium? Are they similar to what you're used to, or how is that going to be all worked out? Who gets their credentials renewed, and has that been compromised?
I know we're on the line to get one home credential as opposed to the 4 we normally get. I'm expecting to enter the stadium in a full hazmat suit, be chemically sprayed down, and I'll be interested. I'll be posting some video from the press box prior to the game, just of what the accommodations look like. And as for the road, to be determined.
Yeah, I know that ordinarily they have over 200 people in the press box. They may only have 30 or 40 for this game. And basically all of the outlets who have covered Ohio State football diligently and closely for the last few years are going to be there, which in my mind, the 3 local TV network affiliates, a couple local radio stations, I'm sure, the Cleveland paper, the Columbus paper, probably the Dayton, Toledo papers, maybe Lima and Mansfield, and that's about it on that.
Atlanta.
And then yeah, the Lantern, of course, the student paper, and then probably 8 or 10 websites as we have that will probably make up the home contingent, and that's it. So, I guess we'll have to make do with what we've got. All the press conferences will be Zoom calls, so it's not even imperative that you're on site to interview anybody one-on-one, because everything will be done by a Zoom call after the game. So I guess that makes that a little easier to cover the game if you're not there. And as Kevin said, next week, at Penn State, I think we're both expecting to be there, but we haven't got all the confirmations and everything in place just yet. But if it comes up that we can go, so be it. If not, we'll cover it via the Zoom calls and everything back here on the home front. That's all you can do.
Now, when the Big Ten canceled its season and said that that was the final decision, I forget the declarative statement, but there was a declarative statement.
We'll not be reviewing this decision or something like that.
Yes. Now, they've done the same thing with attendance at the games. Now, could they not have just stated and learned their lesson that as of right now, there will not be fans at the games, but it's under review because everybody else is allowing fans at the games throughout college football?
I was on the call with Gene Smith on Monday, and that was kind of the way he left it, that they were going to review this on a week-to-week basis. And, I think the first group that would be allowed back in at Ohio State would be the band and the cheerleaders and Brutus Buckeye, and then maybe a few students and maybe a few fans at large. But as of right now, no students, no fans, no band, no cheerleaders. So just strictly 600 family members of players and coaches from Ohio State, 400 family members of players and coaches for Nebraska, and another 500 to 600 people who are university officials, athletic department, the television crew, Big Ten, anybody who's there, medical, security, police, media. That adds up to about 600 more people.
Few concessions, yeah, it's just going to be
concessions, yeah. So yeah, it's that's the way it's breaking down this week. I agree with you, Mark. I think there's two things. One, I think they're going to run this in a vacuum, and if their protocols hold, you would hope that there's no cancellations all season long, and it's clean, and they're able to do it safely. And if they're able to do that, then the last 2 to 4 weeks, why not invite people into the stands who can infect your players anyway, because they're more than 6 feet away, what you run the risk of then, however, is outbreaks connected to the games with people sitting next to each other and whatever. But, so be it. We can live with that, I guess. I'm joking. But I think that's the first thing, is kind of like what's driving all of this. Again, I don't think it's a money issue. I think it's more of a safety and health issue at this point. They don't even want people parking in the parking lot outside and tailgating, which you think would be a perfect place to set up your TV and watch college football all day outside the stadium where you've done it for 20 some years. But they're not even allowing that. They don't want people to congregate near the stadium. So hopefully as we get into this, it'll open up a little bit. But the problem that we're having is we're going through spikes right now in a lot of these states, and the numbers are going up supposedly, and that's not going to lead them to lessen things, I don't think, anytime soon.
No.
Again, a 76th edition of Ohio State Buckeyes Live, brought to you by our Patreon supporter, Buckeye Blessed. Join me on Patreon. Just search Mark Rogers TV. You get the insider look, the score predictions on the games, 39 and 29 against the spread, and exclusive live streams and content as well. For Steve Hillwagon of Bucknuts and Kevin Noon of Buckeye Grove, this is Buckeyes Live, and we will recap, of course, Nebraska and look forward to Penn State next week. See you soon.
Come to Penn State.